What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It is Antoinette Monique, and I'm so glad you decided to click on this video. I pray that you are having a blessed day, and if not, then I pray it gets better. One thing that I wanted to hop back on here and do is, number one, pick back up on my channel. I've started it a while ago, and if you have seen my video here or there, I'm a post and delete type of girl because I don't know, I'm just so critical of myself. I want to make sure that I'm always saying the right thing. I want to always be doing the right thing, and like I don't always do it. And it's, I guess I don't know. I could be pretty hard on myself, and that brings me to this topic of discussion for today, and it's really just about how me and my Christian faith, and how some others, how we are so hard on ourselves and trying to be the perfect Christian. And there's a lot to unfold there, but I'm just gonna to dive into it a little bit. And the thought for this conversation came from a friend that I was actually conversing with, and one about 3 years ago, right when I began like my Christian walk, the way that kind of God intended it to, versus the way I was doing it before, which a lot of us do because we're young, but we have one foot in and one foot out. I grew up in church. Like, I know who God is, I know who Jesus is, and I know the things that I am supposed to do and that I'm not supposed to do. And do we always do them? No. That's why God has grace for when we are making mistakes and just the things that we get ourselves into. And it just causes a whole ripple effect of how our lives turn out. Some of the decisions we make can be detrimental to the plans that God has for us. And it's really just, it's a walk that you have to have with Him, because He has grace, but a lot of the times we don't have grace for ourselves. So this conversation today is just, I feel like it's so needed. I see a lot on, and I watch YouTube. I'm not on Instagram or anything right now, but I do watch YouTube, and a lot of the videos that I see is a lot of people, it's like, this is how you do this is how you do that, and like they're all like so many great tips, but I think that when you consume them, you have to know how to apply them to your situation and where you are in your walk with God, and that can hinder. It can hinder growth. It can hinder your growth in your relationship with Him if you take on too many things that He hasn't even told you to take on. And that just really, like, we all are striving to be better, but especially when it comes to being a Christian, and when you really love God, and when you're in a place where you really reverence Him and you love what He loves and you hate what He hates, you can get really like judgmental of yourself and of other people. And that is a big reason, going back to what I was saying about my friends, that really they aren't Christians, or they were and they aren't anymore, because they feel like we're just too overly critical of everything. And like a lot of that is true, because if you like learn so much and you know certain things, sometimes you can become someone who just spews out knowledge or spews out things that you've learned. And when someone else is not in that place to hear it, or God has not instructed you to, I guess, to tell them certain things, it really pushes them away. And like the first thing, I know we hear it a lot, is people say, see, that's why I don't mess with Christians now. And like, I really hate to hear that. I really do, because I don't play by Jesus. Okay. I really don't. But I'm so graceful in that area, because although I've never been someone to, not openly say like, I'm not a Christian or anything like that. It's just the things that I have done. You wouldn't even know that I was a Christian. You know what I mean? A lot of us do it, down to the music that we listen to, some of the places that we go, some of the people that we hang out with, and it's like you really wouldn't know that we were a Christian. So it's just there comes a time when you just really have to be with God for yourself, so that way you can understand what it is that He's trying to tell you, and then He'll lead you to the people that He wants to pour into you. And one of the big things the first friend that I'm talking about 3 years ago, when I began to like really just take my Christian walk seriously, I stopped smoking and drinking like almost all at once. And even though like God didn't tell me to do it initially, it was just like, I'm like, God, I'm done with everything. Like it was, a lot going on at that time. And I was just in a place like, this cannot be it to life. Like there is no way, even though, I may have been having fun at that time, what I considered fun before. It just got to a point where it was really old. And I'm like, okay, God, I know you, I grew up in church. I know Jesus. So, show me what I need to do. Like just literally the ultimate surrender. Show me what I need to do. Tell me where I need to go. Like I began to ask him everything. I don't care if it was what store to go to, like no matter what, I would just always ask him. And she would, my friend said, do you really ask God about everything? And I'm like, girl, yes, because if I didn't, do you know what I would be doing? Like I just at that point, obviously I wasn't making the best decisions. So I was done asking myself anything, what I thought about anything. I wanted to know what God thought and how he thought for me and what we should think, like all of those things. So that's the place that I was in. And I remember one of the things that I said to her, because I was writing articles about celebrities and things like that at the time. And I remember there just being like a knowing of like certain things, and it was just like, I began to have, slowly have like a disdain for certain things I would hear in the music or certain articles I would write. Just that the person I was writing them about, like my spirit would be so bothered, and like I just knew. And I'll say this, like I'll just be honest. This is back to when the Astro World concert happened, and when I was writing an article about. This was before the concert, and it was just about, the lineup, the music and all of that stuff, who's going to be there and all of that. And just seeing the illustrations from it and like all of that, I was going off. I was like, this ain't right. Something wrong with this. And my friend like, she literally had no idea. She did not see anything. Her spirit wasn't judged about it or like anything. She really thought I was crazy. And if I look back, I would have been like, girl, what are you talking about? But just, the fact that it didn't sit right with my spirit. So when, the tragedy did happen from Astro World, and God bless anybody who went through that, the world, the viewers, even when we experienced that, just, it was really something to pray about. And I don't know if she just didn't want to confirm that what I said was kind of right or, anything. But after that, she was still like, I still don't know what you're talking about. Like stuff happen all the time. And I'm just like, how do you not see? So at that time, I just knew that God was really heightening my discernment for certain things and showing me like, what I should be looking at and what I, shouldn't be looking at. So that's just a way I wanted to share of how God will show you some of the things or convict you in your spirit about some things that you should be doing and that you shouldn't be doing. But as for her, I don't know where her faith or her walk with God or anything stands. And she's such a great person. Like I still consider her to be a friend, just from a place of grace and things like that. But I don't know where her walk stands at this time. But what I do know is, God was calling her for sure, like literally. And it something happened, when I was living with her for a little while. Literally, someone called, or like I don't know if it was like an automated thing or what, but it called her phone and it said, God is call. I heard it because she put it on speaker. We were in the kitchen cooking, and it said, God is calling you. And I was just like, oh. And she like hung up really quick, like they always calling here. And I was just like, girl. It just could not be more obvious. And like for her, that's how loud God was calling her. But I never got, a phone call or anything like that. For me, it was just in my spirit. And that's the way I know that God is teaching me how to walk in my spirit. Because, I guess he know I'll listen or something like that. But like for her, it's like she was like, "Stop calling here!" Like, oh my goodness, it was like so funny, but like kind of sad at the same time because I'm like, how do you not get that obvious sign that like God is calling you? And sometimes people just aren't ready. So who knows, where she is now, where she'll be in a couple of years or whatever. But just at that time, I was still making mistakes, and even till now, still making mistakes. And that's just something that the reason I want to talk about it is because it's like you'll never be perfect. And like, I just feel like everybody should get to a place where they do understand, like, you won't be perfect, but as long as you start, and that's just with anything in life, like it's not going to be perfect, but as long as you start, things will begin to unfold and God will begin to to unveil himself and unveil his plans for you. And just a lot of things is like, we don't want to be chastised. But when you're really surrendering to Christ, it's like you're open to, I'm like, Lord, whatever you need to do, like, do it. Like, don't kill me. But, but you know what I mean? It's just really being at that place of surrender and just understanding, like, you're not going to get everything right. And, I do hate that people get pressure from certain Christians. Repentance is a different thing. Conviction is a different thing, but it is something that comes from the Lord. So where someone else may be convicted about something, you may not be convicted about it, but in time, God will begin to tell you, hey, okay, now, you need to stop doing this. And then in the next season, you may be open to do it. I'm not talking about sin, like, don't go crazy, but it's just, certain things. I won't get too much into that right now, but it's just something that I wanted to point out. And to kind of like round out this video, I'll just stay on the topic that I guess for me, and this is enlightening to me, is having the discernment to know when you are doing it, when God is like, okay, you putting too much on yourself, or you're doing all these things that I didn't tell you to do. And it's kind of like, good. And I'll relate this like I have a son and he's 13, and it's like when he's like cleaning up and like certain things, I'm like, you didn't even have to do, it's not like, he cleaned up so well and it's like, oh, you clean the ceilings too, not like, it's not even like that, but it's just certain things like moving certain things. And I'm just like, I asked you to vacuum, you didn't have to do this or that, you know what I mean? Cause it's kind of, and I'll see him get frustrated. I'm like, you didn't even have to do all of that. I just asked you to, vacuum. So that's kind of how like God is. It's like, do the simple thing that he asked you to do and don't try to do too much at one time. Take the one task that he told you to do and just do that. And that way you're not so frustrated that you overload yourself and now you just can't do anything else. Or you feel so beat up that, you don't have the energy to do the next thing that you need to do. So, I hope all of that was clear. I really wanted to just say to anybody who is new in their Christian walk and in Christian faith, or they want to know, you know what I mean? Because you have people around you judging. It's like, if you want to walk with the Lord, okay? Don't worry about how you do it right now. If you're just starting out, just show up. And that's all that God is saying. Like, just show up, just call on him. Jeremiah 33:3 is like one of my favorite verses, but it's just like, just call him, he'll answer, and then he'll begin to instruct you. Don't put too much on it, but also come, in repentance and ready to change. You know what I mean? Like a Christian walk, I don't think it's a light thing, because every day you have to choose, okay, I'm going to do things right today, or, it really is all day long. We get tested all day, whether you're getting cut off in traffic or somebody skips you in a line at the grocery store. It's like the test will always come, but you always have to be able to implement the things that you have learned, that God has been teaching you. Anyway, that is all. I really appreciate if you stayed through the entire video. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions or you just want to chat, feel free to drop some comments, or I do have my email in the description box, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. I apologize, for my nails. I ain't been to the nail shop yet, but I am going tomorrow, I think. But yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you all joining me. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.